out, I want to talk about something kind of silly. I know I fell for it on Twitter. I was quote tweeting some of the text messages that were put out by Deebo Samuel and then deleted. Do you want to fill people in on what's been going on with Micah Parsons, Deebo Samuel, and Cam Newton?
Sure. So I know this is your stream, Ashley, but I did put together a slide deck, for my show this morning, and I did talk about this. So I wanted you, if you can add this one,
Yes.
put it up on the screen. Here, I'm wondering how I can get it. Here, there we go, slideshow. So I created this timeline because there's a lot to follow, right, of what happened. And these are the major events, but they were several small events that happened in between this to kind of make it even more interesting. Yeah, I clearly have too much time on my hands. But so Monday night, obviously the 49ers lost. Micah Parsons tweets during the game, the 49ers were down 21 at the time. There was a tweet he posted. I believe I actually do have it. It's a couple of slides. Down 21, and there are no shots or development throws. Should tell you all you need to know. So obviously insinuating that, Brock Purdy is just a game manager and the 49ers don't trust him, right? Like that's
which makes no sense because he's been on his podcast hyping up Brock Purdy and his defense.
Exactly. It's hilarious, actually. Like he's I don't think he understands.
No one to talk, Micah. No one to talk. No one to shut up. Like
yeah, exactly.
If Brock Purdy is bad, that means you're worse because he beat up on you.
Exactly. So that's why that one's humorous. So then Wednesday morning, Deebo Samuel joined the Kay Adams show as he does, every week. And he was directly asked about the tweet from Micah Parsons, and Deebo pretty much said like, you're obsessed with us kind of thing. I don't know why everyone's so obsessed with us. He also told Cam Newton like stop texting me, stop calling or something like that. And then shortly after, this isn't here, but this is one of those smaller events that happened afterwards. Deebo Samuel went on social media, responded to Micah Parsons, said, "You worried about us so much. I think you want a Niner jersey." And then he also posted screenshots.
I like that.
Yeah, that was a good one. He also posted screenshots of Cam Newton, texting him, Cam Newton texting him. We would later find out this was not Cam Newton, right? But pretty convincing because they used the Cam Newton font and everything. So I certainly thought it was him. But Cam Newton then responded and was like, he posted a video. He's like, dude, that's not me. Like, I don't even know how you got that. You fooled me. I even had to check my phone and make sure, like, I didn't actually text you. But no, that was not me. So that also happened Wednesday afternoon. Hours later, then there's some screenshots that appear online of like, it was like a Snapchat like conversation screenshot. There's someone saying like, "Oh, I know someone who catfished Deebo into thinking it was Cam Newton texting him." And yeah, so that surfaced. And then there was also a video of a young man. He sounded like a kid, honestly. He's probably like in college or something like that, calling Deebo. So proof that he had his number. And his voice is cracking, hands shaking as he's talking to Deebo. But that pretty much did kind of confirm that, yeah, he was catfished. So
that's, I mean, beautiful slideshow. First of all, Steph, how that was incredible. Wow, that was. I'm glad that you put that all together.
That's hilarious.
I thought I knew everything, and I was even missing some of those parts. I thought the font was really convincing for me. With that Cam Newton one, how smart of these catfishers that they like went in time and they predicted that this was like, how did they know to pretend to be Cam Newton? You know what I mean? Like, damn. And then it just happened to be that all this stuff happened with Cam Newton. That was crazy.
Honestly, like I think it's objectively funnier that like all of this came from Deebo getting catfished. Like I'm so like I love Deebo and I love that he was clapping back at them, but like this is so funny how this ended.
Hilarious. I will say, like, I feel like some people, have been like, Deebo shouldn't say anything or whatever. I thought, I don't know, I like this stuff. And whether or not, I mean, it makes Deebo look silly because or at least the Cam part of it does, because it wasn't real. But I don't really see a problem. I guess I can understand the criticism of like Deebo had kind of a bad game, so don't talk. But I don't know. I kind of think this stuff makes sports fun. Although
Yeah.
I especially the one that gets me is the Micah Parsons, but he's always talking about everyone. He's always trying to butter people up, and then when he thinks that it's cool to trash on, he trashes them. Like, just stand on something. I don't even care what your opinion is. Just like make it firm.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I respect Cam's opinion because he's like at least kept the same opinion the whole entire time. Like, and Mike is just like riding the wave. But that was hilarious. I
Hilarious.
really like that you put together a timeline for that. It's always fun. I feel like Deebo, he goes through, like once a year, he has a little social media thing going
Yeah.
on.
This year
Uh,
he's had a lot, but yeah.
yeah, when people in the comments are kind of just arguing with whether or not Cam was right or not, which I feel like it's just a conversation that we cannot say right now, to be honest. I don't think what is it? The guy
My
you always do a show with, Rob, he's like, you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
have a certain amount of sample size before you can decide what type of player this player is. If Brock
And that's
Purdy keeps
fair.
up the level of play he's had his whole career so far, even if he has another bad game, like if he has all those good games and then another bad game, you would say he's an elite quarterback.
It's too early to say if Brock's elite, but on the conversation of like game manager versus game changer, I don't think Brock's a game changer. Could he eventually become one? Maybe, sure, but he isn't one right now. That being said, he's not a game manager either. I've seen game managers, and Brock Purdy is not that. So there has to be something in between. Like, that's kind of been my argument in that, is that I think he would fall somewhere in between that. There's a lot of other guys who I think would fall in between that too.
Yeah. Like
There
people
isn't
who
a
don't.
term for it, so we got to figure that out.
Yeah,
What is
there's
that
like a
called?
second, there's like a second level.
Yeah.
I've been saying kind of this whole season, I felt like Brock Purdy optimizes this offense. I think maybe that's
Yeah,
a
like,
good way to
add
describe it.
something to it. He adds
You know
something
what I
to
mean?
it to
He's
lift
not
the
like
offense.
leading it. He's not
Right.
when you go to Cam Newton's comments, he's not the truck, but I don't think he's like solely a trailer. I think he's for people who don't
There
understand that
you
reference,
go.
go back
That's
a couple
actually a great way to put it. Like, maybe he's not the engine, but he's also not the trailer. So is he what is he? Like a
I think he's
hatch
the driver. I think
hatchback?
that there's people that are the engine
He's
that are
the
making
driver,
it,
okay.
they're doing the
That's
things, but he's like
He's a
not
driver, a
veering
very
off the
responsible
road.
driver.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There we go. Look, we
There
solved
we
this. We
go.
solved
That's a
this
great one,
debate in
actually.
5 minutes at the end of a show. Come on, guys.
That's a
How
great
many
one.
people have
I
been talking
like
about
that.
this? We haven't came to that. Um, I disagree. I think that Kyle Shanahan has the ability to. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
He
mean,
does.
but to argue against that, like Jimmy Garoppolo is a perfect example of system quarterback, game manager, right? And that's
Yeah.
what, like, you give Kyle Shanahan credit for what Jimmy Garoppolo was able to do with the offense. Like, he could just operate it, but within a very like closed off
Yeah.
structure of like only a very small amount of this offense could Jimmy Garoppolo run. It was enough to be a really good offense, right? But now we're seeing that open up a little bit, and we're seeing Brock Purdy handle a little bit more of this
And that's what
offense. So
you're
I
talking about
think
with
he's
the
more than
next
a
step.
game manager.
That's what you're
Yeah,
talking about with the next step, for sure. For
exactly.
sure. Well, Steph, I know that you have another show. Is it